Let's get started with our first piece of news. Shawn OMalley surprised his dad in a way that's melting hearts across the fight world. With UFC 316 on the horizon, OMalley decided to make the moment even more unforgettable by asking his dad to be in his corner for the fight. Yes, you heard that right. The rematch between Morab and Shawn is officially set to take place at UFC 316 on June 7th, and Shawn is making sure this one is personal. Earlier today, Ali posted footage that immediately went viral, a touching, emotional moment where he surprised his dad with the question of a lifetime. The clip shows Shawn approaching his dad casually, but with something clearly on his mind. Then, without any build-up or warning, he pops the big question. Should I say no? Do you want to be in the corner? For a second, his dad just stands there. You can see the gears turning in his head, trying to process what he just heard. He lets out a laugh, a mix of disbelief and overwhelming pride. "Oh, that's not going to make it," he mutters, trailing off as the emotions begin to rise. He's smiling, almost in shock. It's not every day your son, a top UFC fighter about to enter one of the biggest rematches of the year, asks you to be by his side inside the octagon. And Shawn, never one to miss a beat, adds with a grin, "No, I might beat you though." The moment is pure gold. It's not just a funny exchange. It's a reminder of the strong bond between father and son, the kind of relationship that's built not just on love, but on years of shared sacrifice, belief, and hard work. You could see it in both of their eyes. This wasn't just about winning or losing a fight. It was about family. It was about honor. It was about bringing someone who helped shape the fighter he's become into the most important moment of his career. And let's not forget the context. The rematch with Morab is not just any fight. Their first meeting ended in disappointment for Shawn OMalley, and this second shot is a chance at redemption. It's a high-stakes showdown with title implications, legacy, and personal pride all on the line. To bring his dad into the fold at a time like this, it shows just how much this moment means to him. It's not about pressure, it's about purpose. In the world of combat sports, we often focus so much on knockouts, rivalries, and drama that we forget the human stories behind each fighter. This moment was a powerful reminder of that. Fighters aren't just warriors in the cage, they're sons, brothers, fathers, and human beings trying to make their loved ones proud. As fans, this kind of story makes us invested on a whole different level. It's no longer just Shawn OMalley versus Morab. It's now a story of a son walking into battle, not alone, but with the support of the man who raised him, the man who stood by him through the grind, through the injuries, and through the setbacks. Come June 7th, the spotlight will be on UFC 316, but for Shawn OMalley and his dad, the most important spotlight might be the one that shines on their corner, a place where love, trust, and a lifetime of belief come together for one more fight. Now, moving on to our second piece of news, and it's a big one. Garry is making headlines yet again, just days after going through an absolute war inside the octagon. The rising UFC star has made it crystal clear he's ready to be the backup fighter for UFC 315. Yes, you heard that right. After a grueling 5-round battle against Carlos Patiz just last weekend, Garry isn't taking a break. He's not hitting the beach, not resting up, not even slowing down. Instead, he's getting right back to business. Earlier today, Ian posted footage of himself looking sharp, healthy, and fired up, proving to fans and critics alike that he's still in fight shape and still in the conversation. The caption, short and powerful: "Canada, here I come." Let that sink in. It's Wednesday, April 30th, just 4 days since he went the distance in one of the most demanding fights of his career. And Garry is already setting his sights on the next card. UFC 315 is just around the corner, and Garry is making sure his name stays in the mix. In the video, he looks straight into the camera with that signature confidence and delivers a message only he could pull off. It's only 4 days after the scrap. We're basically brand new, ready to rock up to Canada. What's up? Who's ready? Who's ready to rock and roll? Me? You're looking at me. He flashes a smirk, points at the lens, and keeps the energy high. Despite clearly still recovering, his spirit and drive are undeniable. Got a little bit of bruising on the foot, that's alright. Scarred from shooting a bit, that's alright. Little cross snipper, and then yeah, just moving, trying to get these bricks back in order, because they are decision machines right now. Let's break that down. Even though he's got some battle wounds, a bruised foot, a few scrapes, he's shrugging it off like it's nothing. He's calling his hands decision machines, meaning he's sharp, precise, and ready to go another 5 rounds if the call comes. That kind of mindset, that's what separates contenders from champions. Garry is showing fans what it truly means to stay hungry. He's not just talking about climbing the ladder, he's doing the work. He's staying in shape, staying ready, and staying close to the fire. A lot of fighters take weeks, even months to recover mentally and physically after a war like that, but Ian, he's back, and he's back with purpose. His decision to be the backup fighter for UFC 315 is about more than just staying active. It's a strategic move. He knows that stepping up on short notice could fast-track his title aspirations. If either of the main fighters pulls out, Garry could be the one stepping into the spotlight, with a chance to shake up the entire division. And even if he doesn't get the call, just being there, just staying in the picture, that's what keeps his name alive in title conversations. In the UFC, opportunity can knock at any moment, and when it does, you either answer the door or miss your chance. Garry isn't waiting around hoping things fall into place. He's positioning himself to be ready at all times. So whether he ends up fighting at UFC 315 or not, one thing is clear. Garry is making a statement. He's not here to take part. He's here to take over. And Canada better get ready, because the future might be arriving sooner than expected. Now onto another big topic that's been heating up the MMA world and getting fans talking. And this one's got some real fire behind it. UFC Hall of Famer and commentator Daniel Cormier has stepped forward with some strong words about what he believes is a glaring double standard in the sport. According to DC, Islam Makhachev is being unfairly criticized, and he's not afraid to call it out. So what's the issue? Well, Daniel Cormier is clearly fed up with the way fans and media are treating Islam when it comes to the idea of him moving up in weight. Islam, the current lightweight champion, has been dominating the division, defending his title against some of the toughest names in the game. But recently, when he mentioned he might want to go up to welterweight and test himself against bigger challenges, the backlash was instant. Suddenly, people were demanding that he be stripped of his title if he didn't stay and defend against featherweight champ Ilia Topuria, a man who's already coming up from 145 pounds. Daniel didn't hold back. In a recent segment, he broke it down like this: "You're holding on to the belt, not really doing anything, so it's odd. But you know what's annoying to me? Islam has said, I don't want to really fight Ilia Topuria because he's a 45-pounder, and I've done that. Give me somebody else." And people are like, take the belt off of him. He should be stripped. Then DC added something that really hit home. I've seen reports, and I don't know if they're true, where they're like, it's either strip or defend for Makhachev. Why? That's the key question here. Why is Islam being treated this way when other champions have done far less and received far less heat? Daniel went on to make a direct comparison with Jon Jones, the current heavyweight champion and one of the biggest names in UFC history. Jon moved up from light heavyweight to claim the heavyweight title, but since winning it, he's only fought once. And yet, where's the pressure? Where are the headlines calling for him to be stripped? Islam has defended his title multiple times over the last 2 years. Cormier said he fought Volk, he fought Dustin, he fought Volk again, he fought, what's the guy's name that just, what's the guy's name? You'll get it. He fought them all. Even with the slip up, the point was clear. DC emphasized that Islam has been active. He's fought 4 times in the same span that Jon Jones has fought once. Yet somehow it's Islam being told to either defend immediately or lose his title. That's a pretty strong case of double standards if you ask most fans. This goes deeper than just Islam and Jon. It's about fairness at the highest level of the sport. Champions should be held to the same standards, regardless of popularity, legacy, or personal narratives. And when someone like Islam, who's proven himself time and time again, gets more backlash for seeking greatness, it raises real questions about how fans and the media treat certain fighters. It's not just Daniel Cormier saying it. More and more fans are starting to agree. Islam Makhachev deserves respect. He's been a dominant and active champion, and if he wants to chase greatness in another division, he should be supported, not punished. At the end of the day, this sport is about challenging yourself, testing your limits, and earning your legacy. And from the looks of it, Islam is doing just that. The question is, will the fans give him the same patience and praise they've given others? Next up, Cory Sandhagen has shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated rematch between Morab and Shawn OMalley, and he's got a refreshingly honest take that's catching attention. While a lot of fans have been quick to criticize the booking, saying Ali doesn't deserve a second shot at Morab, Cory isn't buying that narrative. Instead, he's breaking it all down with cold, hard logic. There's simply no one else. Cory stated matter-of-factly in a recent interview. Petr Yan already got dominated by Morab. Figgy just lost. There's nobody else right now. And when you actually stop and look at the current state of the bantamweight division, it's hard to argue with him. Sure, Morab has been a force of nature. His relentless cardio, suffocating pressure, and non-stop wrestling grind have broken down some of the best fighters in the game. He's the type of guy who can throw 20 takedown attempts in a round and never look tired. But Cory believes fans are underestimating Shawn OMalley and his team's ability to learn and adapt. I think Ali's a smart fighter, Cory explained. He's not going into this fight blind. He knows what he's up against now, and that kind of loss, the kind where you're just overwhelmed, it can either break you or light a fire under you. I think it's going to do the latter. According to Cory, this rematch might not play out the exact same way fans are expecting. Yes, Morab's game plan is tough to stop, but with the right adjustments, timing, footwork, defensive wrestling, Shawn OMalley might just be able to turn the tide, and Cory knows a thing or two about elite matchups himself. He's currently preparing for a huge fight of his own, a title eliminator against rising contenders Daves and Figueroa. This is his first bout since a close and competitive loss to Umar Nurmagomedov, who at the time was still undefeated and one of the most feared fighters in the division. Look, my last fight was tough. Umar's legit. He's got the wrestling, the movement, the fight IQ. I learned a lot from that one, Cory said, and now with Figueroa in front of him, another dangerous test. He knows what's at stake. This fight could be for a shot at the belt. It makes sense. Neither of us has fought Morab yet, and the division needs fresh matchups. When asked about how he sees the rematch between Morab and Ali playing out, Cory was brutally honest and realistic. In all likelihood, it's probably going to look the same, he admitted. But I'm not going to count out Ali. He's not some dummy who's going to walk into the same traps. He's going to make some corrections. He has to. If not, he's in for a long night again, Cory continued, addressing the critics who think Ali is only getting the rematch because of favoritism or UFC marketing. I don't think it's about privilege or politics. I think it's just timing. Umar just fought. I'm coming off a loss. Jan's on a skid and already lost clearly to Morab. So who else is there? Sometimes matchups just happen because they have to happen, not because they're perfect. He wrapped things up by taking a subtle jab at Figgy, his next opponent. Figgy's not going to win with wrestling. He's just not that level of wrestler, and his striking isn't point-based, it's more power shots. I do well against that kind of style. So whether you agree with Cory's analysis or not, one thing's for sure, he's calling it exactly how he sees it. And with his own path to the title hanging in the balance, you can bet he'll be watching Morab versus Ali very closely. Now let's talk about something that's got every MMA fan buzzing, an update that might just be the clearest sign yet that Jon Jones is not done fighting. For months, fans have been speculating, debating, and in some cases even doubting whether Jon would ever return to the octagon. After his injury and the long silence that followed, people started to question if we'd seen the last of the heavyweight champion. Would he defend the belt? Would he fight Tom Aspinall? Or was that win over Stipe going to be the final chapter? Well, today, Jon gave us something that put all that speculation to rest, or at least gave fans hope that the King of the Cage isn't quite ready to walk away. Jon Jones took to Instagram and shared a powerful message, accompanied by a photo that said a lot more than words ever could. It was an image of what he calls his legacy wall, a display of framed posters from all the biggest fights of his career, legendary battles, iconic moments, a wall that tells the story of a man who has been at the very top of the fight game for well over a decade. In the caption, Jon wrote, "Now as you can see, still haven't framed or hung the Stipe fight yet. Been moving a million miles an hour lately, but there's one last perfect spot left on my wall of victory." It was a statement loaded with meaning. That one last spot wasn't just about hanging up another poster. It was a promise, a hint, a signal that Jon sees his story as unfinished, that there's still one more chapter to be written, one more war to be fought. As he looked at that wall, Jon added something that really hit home for his fans. "It really hits me. This isn't just artwork, it's legacy. Every poster tells a story, different chapters, different homes, different battles, wins that meant the world at the time, fights that made history." He went deeper, reflecting not just on the wins, but the journey itself, the ups, the downs, the battles inside and outside the cage. And through it all, he's remained a towering figure in the sport. "I've said it before, my career hasn't been perfect," Jon wrote, "but it's been undeniably legendary, epic, special. Just a few words that come to mind: legend after legend, era after era." And then came one of the most meaningful parts of his message. Jon talked not just as a fighter, but as a man, as someone who has evolved. What I'm most proud of, he continued, I've evolved. I'm so much more than just a fighter. I'm a man growing stronger in my faith, a family man, a loyal brother to my team, a businessman, a leader, a man for my community. He ended the message with a heartfelt tribute to someone who clearly still inspires him. And I know, without a doubt, my mother would be proud of the man I've become. The wall's almost filled, but trust me, the story is still being written. The best is yet to come. So there it is, from the man himself. Jon Jones is not done. The wall may be almost full, but there's still room for one more legendary night, and fans everywhere are now wondering, will it be against Tom Aspinall? Will we finally get that passing of the torch moment? Or a clash between greatness and the next generation? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, Jon Jones is still hungry, still chasing, still writing history.